Good day, viewers. Welcome to yet another fun-filled and exciting episode of your favorite show, The Social Leak. Now, today's episode is a lot different because guess what? It's, of course, our Season 3 season recap. Now, we're having this season recap a little bit earlier this season because this season, we want to end the season off in a different way. Now, if you want to find out, you'll of course have to stay tuned to see how the season will end. But let's take a look at the greatest moments of Season 3. Now, of course, if you're just joining us once again, this is, of course, our recap episode for Season 3. Now, let's take it off to where Season 3 started. Now, Episode 1 of Season 3 was, of course, the same-sex marriages, where we were joined by a lawyer as well as a same-sex couple, and we discussed everything about same-sex marriages, the laws that are within the country when it comes to same-sex marriages, and of course how to be involved and be more supportive to the LGBTQIA plus community. But in order for you to catch up and find out a little bit more, let's take a look at what happened in Episode 1.
I practice in Namibia, and I've been dealing with a few of the court cases that's been going on relating to same-sex marriages and the recognition thereof.
Yes.
Hi, good morning. My name is Philip Lühl, and I'm an architect and a lecturer at the Namibia University of Science and Technology. And I am in a same-sex marriage, though not acknowledged in this country, and have been dealing with quite a number of issues surrounding that status as a Namibian citizen with a non-Namibian partner.
You must remember the legal framework is exactly the same. The legal consequences, the legal protection, the legal implications are exactly the same for a same-sex marriage as for an opposite-sex marriage. It's almost like asking couple A and couple B, how do your marriages differ? Whether you're both in opposite-sex marriages, it's the same implication. Each marriage has its own dynamic, its own personal issues and things, but at the end of the day, it's still just a couple moving through the world, living a life together and building a future.
And perhaps, again, to add to that is, in Namibia, I think, in our case, all institutions besides the Ministry of Home Affairs acknowledges my partner as my husband, right? So my sort of pension fund, my employer, my medical aid, like our banks, we're co-signatories, have joint bank accounts. Everybody just simply acknowledges that we're, a household, a family. Of course, our kids' school, their doctors, hospitals, everybody. Besides the Ministry of Home Affairs, that acknowledges that we are, really a family unit and operate as such.
Yes.
That in the current discussion around the is it the Domestic Violence Preventing of Domestic Violence Act, the reference to partnerships was specifically made to be partners of opposite sex. So there's like an active attempt to to sort of bracket out same-sex relationships from the protections against domestic violence, which is entirely outrageous, right? I mean, so I think that really means that the government can no longer stand on the stance to say, oh, we're not actively persecuting or, discriminating against same-sex or LGBTQ people.
I agree with Philip 100%. The reality is it'll have to come from the top. Firstly, we'll have to look at legislation. And it is our courts and as well as our parliament's duties to expand our laws to be inclusive. I mean, we've got articles in our constitution providing for the right to equality and not to be discriminated against. You have the right to family, you have the right to dignity, which is enshrined in our constitution, and you cannot cherry pick the constitutional rights that you want to give to your citizens.
Now, of course, in episode 2, we're of course joined by youth in entertainment, because we were discussing everything youth in entertainment, because 2022 is of course the year for the youth to pop up in the entertainment scene and show us what they've got. Now I was joined by YMZ as well as Prime Rose, who are 2 upcoming artists that are definitely doing the most. But once again, if you want to see a little bit more, let's take a look at the recap.
Hello everybody. First and foremost, I am Primrose Harasis. So I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for that introduction.
Yes.
But yes, I am a musician, and you know, I've always had a passion for singing since I can remember. And I'm very happy to be here, especially joined here by the amazingly talented YMZ. So you let them know who you are.
Yeah, what up my people? It's your boy YMZ Official. I'm very honored and pleased to be given this platform to showcase and to tell you more about me, since many people wanted to actually know about me. Thank you for giving me this platform, and stay tuned. Yeah.
Right, so to kickstart today's discussion, please let me know. Let's start with you, Prime Rose. When did you first join the entertainment industry?
Like I said, it's always been something that has been a part of me. I feel like the song was what the world saw, but ever since I can remember, singing has been in my blood.
Yeah.
Like when I was 10, I started playing the keyboard, and then I was like, okay, this music thing is actually, you know, are you like, you just hear things in your head, you hear melodies, you're like, you know, I'm pretty sure you can like relate.
Yeah.
And then I grew up a bit. I sang at school. I was given that platform, and that's when I realized like it's something I want to do.
Yeah.
And in the December 2022, obviously like my parents were like, first finish school.
Yeah.
You know, then you can pursue like this career. But then we found a producer, and then I released my first song, Liberties.
Yeah.
So that was like my introduction, kind of.
Yeah. What about you?
I did not actually start with music. I started as a dancer,
Yeah.
you know, and then slowly, you know, my inspiration comes from abroad, South Africa, since we are basically influenced by South Africans. I think one of my role models, the last one, started doing music, and I was like, okay, let me try this music thing, which was last year around June. And then people actually liked what I did on the song, and then I was like, okay, let me keep on going.
Yeah.
So I would not say I started with music. I started as a dancer, you know, just a basic influencer on Instagram and so on and so on. So I was influenced by most of the influencers to become or to do music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's your journeys are quite amazing journeys. I mean, you started off as a dancer, and you just knew I need to tap into the singing. There was, of course, the recap to youth in entertainment, but because here at Social Leak we like everything that gels well together, for episode 3, we of course sat down and discussed social media pressures, because as a socialite, as an upcoming artist, there are a lot of things that you can go through after actually reaching that light that you've been also craving for. We sat down with Desiree Garces as well as Jamie Lee Loss, who are of course a YouTuber as well as TikToker. A lot of them have been on your social media for you page somewhere, and they're definitely content creators that came and gave us more insight on the pressures that so many people face on social media and how to overcome these pressures. But I'm not the one to spill the tea. Of course, if you want to find out more, you'll have to take a look at the recap.
I guess. Hi everybody, my name is Desiree Garces, and I am what you can call an influencer, and I am also a YouTuber.
Well, hi guys, I'm Jamie Lee Loss, also known as J Loss. I'm a content creator. Mostly I give dancing videos, and last year I started with TikTok, so yeah, that's what I do.
Right. So let me find out from you, when did your social media journey first kick off?
I think you can go first.
So mine mainly kicked off like I think last year in March or June, I'm not too sure. But somewhere there, when my followers literally just started growing, because I started posting like reels of myself dancing, mostly to One Blood. And I guess the heroes loved it. So from there, my followers just started growing. Like each month I would gain like 1,000 followers. So yeah.
Well, when we speak about kicking off, I think I can say in the past few months, I have definitely been growing a lot more rapidly on my YouTube channel and as well as on my Instagram, because I've always been like a social media person, but I think consistency was the issue. You know, like posting often, you know, always making sure that there's content for the people was the issue. But lately I've realized the advantages that consistency can have.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing it because now the numbers are growing, you know. I've passed like the goal basically that I set for myself for my subscribers, you know. So now we are going on to 1,000 subscribers, okay? You know, so, and social media, Instagram as well, you know, we're growing there. So yeah, I can say over the past few months, let's say 2022 I've been growing more.
Yeah. All right. So you guys, it was of course social media precious, but a lot of things are discovered on social media nowadays. So I was like, what else can we of course discuss on Social Leak that will still correlate with something social media type of thing, you know? So then we decided to of course discuss modeling as a full-time job, because most models of course started off by modeling on social media, influencing as it's called, and all of a sudden became runway models or just joined pageantry, of course. And so I decided, let's sit down with Louis Munana and discuss modeling and modeling as a full-time job. Well, can it sustain you? I'm not quite sure. Let's find out what Louis Munana has to say.
I'm good. How are you, Yancho?
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Right, so let's start off with, when did you first start modeling?
I started modeling in 2011, and this was a means to an end because I went to study accounting in South Africa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that was my dream, to become a chartered accountant. And then, unfortunately, things became expensive. You know, it's a big city. I was in university. I had to pay for stuff, and both my parents were unemployed at the time.
Yeah.
So I had to pay for school. And then there's this thing called season in South Africa. Season is basically when bookers and agents and TV stations or whatever come to Cape Town to shoot, because it's such an international city. Which means that the locations can pass off as New York, for example. You are able to cheat shots, you know. So then I got scouted in the middle of the street. I was walking to work, and then they're like, "Oh, you can model." I was like, "Nah, that's not for me.
Yeah.
I'm here for school." You know what I'm saying? They're like, "No, you can model." I was like, "Okay, cool. Let me give it a shot because it gives me money." So yeah, after that I signed to an agency, and then the rest was history. Just taking flights outside Namibia, outside South Africa, within South Africa, doing gigs, commercials, TV, Alice. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, of course, I hope Louis Munana answered all your questions about that topic. But moving on, we of course had a sit down with the SRC president from the Namibia University of Science and Technology, as well as from the International University of Management, IUM and NUST. And we, of course, we're just discussing how they deal with certain leadership roles in their school, in their universities, what is that they implement, and how do they fight for their students. Well, let's take a look at what they had to say.
Good morning, colleagues, and good morning, Kapofi and Paulus. My name is Karol Jarakana, SRC President of IUM. I'm actually a final year student, and I'm majoring in History and Geography in Education. Right. So, basically, to briefly introduce myself, I'm born and raised in the Commerce region, and however, as an extended family, my family moved to the Mahake region, or situated in the Mahake region, where I grew up and had my childhood and so forth.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that I'm kind of an ambivert. Yeah. So I only tend to talk to someone or open up about something if I get to know this person, or I'm quite interested or want to know the person more, or so forth. And the other thing is also that I like outgoings and activities, outdoor activities. Basically, that is as a young man, I used to play football. So yeah, I joined my football teams and all those things. Yeah, that's my day-to-day activities. Yeah,
right.
Basically.
Thank you.
Good morning, colleagues. My name is Paulus Philippus. I am the SRC president of both NUS campuses. Basically, I'm born and raised in the mighty Karas region, in a small town, actually bigger town called Keetmanshoop. Finished my high school at PK de Villiers. Currently, I'm a final year computer science student at the Namibia University of Science and Technology. I can classify myself as a sportsman and a choir member at night, and an SRC president during the day. Also a part-time student, a few weeks, hopefully of God's grace away from graduation. And yeah, I think that's just a short take on me.
Amazing. Well, of course, if you are just joining us, you're tuned into the Social Leak. I am Hachiko Porfi, and this is, of course, our season recap. Now, when we take a look at episode 6, we discussed journalism in Namibia alongside Lemba Mupetami as well as Jemima Ndebele, as the 3rd of May was, of course, World Press Freedom Day. And we sat down with them just to find out what journalists are up to within the country, how journalists deal with their day-to-day activities, and how they manage to produce such great stories. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Well, Honcho, well, yes, I'm a journalist. I'm a sports coordinator as well.
Yes.
And yeah, so basically that's what I do.
Yeah.
Well, my name is Jemima Ndebele, and I'm an intern journalist at MyZone.
Yes. All right. So let me start off with you, Lamba. When did this journalism journey actually begin?
Ooh, you know, journalism is a calling, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, but when did I start practicing journalism? You know, I started off in entertainment. I did community stories as well. Those are, you know, the general beats.
Yeah.
You know, so when you're starting out, obviously you do everything. So a couple of years ago, I decided to venture into sports journalism.
Yeah.
Because at that time I thought, look, I think there's a niche. You know, this is an industry that I think needs a couple of women. And so that's how I ended up in the, I mean, it's a long story. I don't want to really get into it, but a couple of years ago, let me say maybe 7 years ago, that's when I ventured into sports journalism. It's been quite very rewarding. I think it was the best decision that I've made in my life. Obviously, I ended up winning the sports awards in 2019. I won the sports awards, was it last year? I won the digital one as well as the broadcasting one as well. So I've won it twice, you know.
Well, there was, of course, Women in Media. But when we take a look at episode 7, we were joined by Tangina Kale, a Namibian forex trader, who was sharing with us his forex trading journey. Not only did he share with us his forex trading journey, but he, of course, shared how to start off as a forex trader, which are the markets that you want to tap into, and the do's and don'ts. So because I am Hanchika Porfi and I am the ultimate plug, I'm going to plug you with this one. Let's take a look.
My name is Tangina Kale. I'm a forex trader by profession and also a part-time student. And I've been trading for a while now, you could say nearly 4 years. So I've been in the industry for quite a while.
All right, so when did you start trading?
It was probably after my first year of high school that I started trading, because I failed my matric, so I felt like I needed to just do something with my life. I couldn't just be at home, so that's how I came across forex trading.
Well, of course, for episode 8, we were joined by Namibian YouTubers, your favorite YouTubers such as Joe Marie, who are here sharing so much about their YouTube journey, of course, telling us how they create their content and how some of you viewers can be very, very picky at times and very needy when it comes to content. But of course, I'm not one to spill all the beans on that. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth Julube and I'm a YouTuber, so yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Kaino Awala and I'm a Namibian YouTuber. Thank you.
Good day everyone, my name is Jo Marie Ortner, all things Jo Marie.
Okay, all things Jo Marie. Right, so let's start off with you, Elizabeth. When did this content creation journey start? When did you become a YouTuber? When did you just decide, like, you know what, I'm gonna stand in front of a camera and talk all day, you know? Yeah.
So I started YouTube last year in July, I think in mid-July. It was during the pandemic and everything. So because I'm into civil society organization and into like community work and all that. So I was like, why not, because I call myself a virtual community advocate. Yeah. So I was like, why not start a YouTube channel? So that's why I started a YouTube channel last year where I do documentaries and just sit-down interviews with young people.
Amazing. So, yeah. What about you, Kaino?
So for me, I started my channel in February 2021. That was last year. So there's actually a short story behind what inspired me to start this channel. It was during the time of COVID. And my sister used to watch a lot of YouTube videos, and she would like tell me about the YouTubers, and I was not really interested. Like, I was not really a TV person, so I would watch with her sometimes here and there. But then later on, at the end of 2020, I was going through some personal problems, and I just needed something to distract me. So I was like, okay, why not maybe join my sister to with watching the videos and all that. And then I became interested. I was like, I think I can do this and all that. And she made a joke one day like, I think you can like start a YouTube channel. Then I was like, really? Do you think I can do this? Okay, we just laughed about it, and then we left it. And then one day I just decided to take my phone and
of course, last week's episode where we sat with Liana, an author who has released already 2 books at such a young age. So we of course sat down with her to find out about her journey as an author, and it was really one very insightful episode. Now, if you want to become an author, this might just be your ticket, and if I were you, I'd definitely pay close attention to this one. Let's take a look at the recap.
I'm doing well, Junior, and thank you for having me.
All right. Okay, so to kickstart today's conversation, tell us a little bit about when you actually started writing.
So I actually started writing in primary school. It has always been a thing of mine. I loved reading, so writing became a natural way of also trying to escape reality and venting and just being creative. So yes.
So you started writing at primary school already. So tell us about those things that you'd write in primary school. Was it like stories, or what was it?
Yes, I used to read a lot of books, so I would also write short stories. It actually started with short stories. But as I grew, I started getting into poetry. I started loving the flow of poetry. Yes, after I started reading Maya Angelou. I know I was too young to read Maya Angelou. So I started writing poetry and short stories and articles, and it just kept going. So
wow, love that. So this is something that you've already started while you were young. All right, so what exactly are your favorite things about writing? Because now you've mentioned that you are also a poet. So well, there you have it. Season 3 of the Social Leak. It was definitely one that had so much to do with social media, a little bit to do with tapping into different career types, and I think it was one very insightful season. Now, of course, join us next week for this season. We have 3 more episodes left, and I'm not one to spill the beans on how we are going to end this season, but I'm just going to say it's going to be one great banger. From me, Hanchika Porfi, it is, of course, Choose for Genende.